Buried deep in the frozen wastes of Manchuria was a place where death was just the beginning. Officially, it was the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department of the Kwantung Army. In reality, Unit 731, a secret bioweapons research division, was responsible for some of the most inhumane experiments in history. Both the United States and Great Britain tested biological weapons during World War II, but for ethical reasons, such tests were limited to animal subjects. Japanese medical officer Shiro Ishii had no such scruples, and he unleashed some of nature's deadliest pathogens on helpless humans with horrifying results. Unit 731 housed some 3,000 personnel. At a ceremony honoring the event, the now General Ishii made the facility's purpose crystal clear. A doctor's God-given mission, Ishii said, was to block and treat disease. But the work upon which we are now about to embark is the complete opposite of these principles. In the name of defeating Japan's enemies, Ishii and his staff spent the next 5 years mixing witch's brews of pathogens that cause some of the world's most horrific diseases: anthrax, plague, gas gangrene, smallpox, and botulism, among others. They then used Chinese prisoners as guinea pigs. They forced them to breathe, eat, and receive injections of deadly pathogens. Allied POWs were also allegedly targeted. Victims were often killed before the diseases had run their course, so that autopsies could show their progress throughout the body. Ishii's men also supplied the Japanese army with typhoid, cholera, plague, and dysentery bacteria for battlefield use. In addition, they contaminated water sources, they released disease-carrying fleas, and they dropped contaminated wheat from airplanes. Although dissolution of Unit 731 in 1945 led to the destruction of many of its records, there is no doubt that Ishii and his men had caused the death of many thousands of Chinese and possibly hundreds of Russian and Allied prisoners of war. Inside of its walls, prisoners were frozen, vivisected, and exposed to experimental viruses. But among those atrocities, whispers emerged of something worse. According to postwar testimony, Unit 731 initiated a secret program, Project Return to Duty, an attempt to create soldiers who could survive beyond death.
They weren't just testing diseases, they were reanimating bodies, keeping the heart going, forcing motion. Something walked when it shouldn't have.
Allegedly, captured prisoners were infected with modified pathogens, kept in cold storage, and reawakened with a cocktail of adrenaline, electrical stimulation, and chemical compounds. Witnesses described subjects who didn't react to pain. They didn't speak, they just twitched and moved.
He is not alive, but he's not dead either.
In 1945, as Japan fell, Unit 731 destroyed all records, but some scientists were secretly offered immunity by the US in exchange for their data. Rumors persist that the reanimation research was quietly continued under new ownership.
Some of the biochemical theories from Unit 731 reappear in Cold War labs. Soviet files reference post-mortem mobility trials. The line between horror and science is thinner than we want to admit.
Did Unit 731 create zombies? Not in the Hollywood sense, but soldiers stripped of humanity, revived for war, immune to mercy? They may have come terrifyingly close. They said no one walked out of Unit 731. But what if something did? Subscribe to Phantom Frontlines for more buried war experiments, classified horrors, and the legends that they tried to burn with the files.